Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make the April card club. And if you're new to my card club, what it is you need to spend $32 in my store, pre-tax, pre-shipping. You need to be within the United States because I can only ship out to the United States. You need to use the current month's hostess code, which will be at the beginning of the video, and I also will leave that code in the description video. And also you need to leave me your contact information when you're checking out of my store. If I don't have your information, I won't be able to mail your card club to you. So what we're doing today with the card club is we're using the Special Reason and the Stylish Stems framelit dies, and you could purchase this as a bundle. So this is what we're focusing on for our cards today. And when you get your cards, they will come in a nice little pack, and you'll have all your supplies you need except for your adhesives, your inks, and any stamped images. But I will provide you with any of the dies and all the cards and ribbons and anything that's included. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our first card today. And you'll get your packet of cards, and you'll just go ahead and set, they'll all be separated into your different cards. So we'll just set these two aside for right now, and we'll focus on our first one. So this one here is made with Dapper Denim cardstock, and it's an A2 card base, and all the measurements and all of everything will be in a PDF file in your packet. Plus I'll leave all the measurements on the video here. But you'll get your Dapper Denim card base, and then you also will get a piece of Designer Series Succulent Garden paper, and that one there, this measures at 4 by 5 1/4, and we're just going to go ahead and use some snail adhesive and glue it to the front of our Dapper Denim card. And once we get this secured to the front, you're also going to have another piece of, you're going to have two pieces of Whisper White in here. One of the Whisper Whites will have the flowers cut out of them, and one will not. So the one that does not have the flowers cut out of them, this is going to be for the inside of your card. So we're just going to go ahead and secure that on the inside, and that's the same measurement as the Succulent Garden Designer Series paper. It is 4 by 5 1/4. So we're just going to secure that down with your snail adhesive, so if you want to write something on here, you'll be able to write it on there. Then you're going to take your piece of Dapper Denim cardstock here, and this one here measures 4.5 by 3.5. So we're just going to glue this down to the front of our card base. And again, we're just using our snail adhesive, and you're just going to kind of center that. So our next piece is going to be the Whisper White with the flowers cut out of it. And this one here measures out at 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and get a scrap piece of paper, and you're going to use the Dapper Denim ink, and you're going to take the smaller flower from this set, this one here, and we're not going to stamp right here because you're going to put a sentiment right there, but we're going to just kind of take this, and we'll do one right here, and then we can do a little piece of one here, and then maybe a little bit coming off the side here, just to give it a little pop of color there. And then we're just going to go ahead, and I'm going to just clean off this stamp really quick. And we're going to get the sentiment, "I'm lucky to have a good friend like you." And we're just going to go ahead and stamp that across the front here. And we're going to use our same ink, the Dapper Denim. And what I always like to do is kind of stamp it first to see if it's even. and then I kind of just move it. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and stamp that right here on the bottom, and I still got it crooked, but that's all right because then they know it's homemade. So then we're just going to attach that to the base of this card here, to the front. And again, we're going to use our snail adhesive. And I kind of like to go around the whole edge of this just because it's got the die cut flower out of it. And then we're just going to kind of center that right on top here. And there you have it. Nice, simple, pretty card. So that's the first card out of the set. So our second card, we're just going to pull this out, and you'll get all of this, the die cut flowers here. And this one here, it's going to come with your base, the A2 Whisper White, which A2 is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So you're just going to go ahead and take your piece of the Dapper Denim, and this one here measures 5 1/4 by 4, and we're just going to go ahead and put this down on the front of our card base here, and we're going to use some snail adhesive. And you just kind of center it around your card base, like so. And we're just going to go ahead and take our piece of Designer Series paper, which this one here is measured at 5 1/4 by 2. And you're also going to get a piece of Dapper Denim ribbon in there, which is about 6.5 inches long. And this is going to go on the front of this, and we're going to we're not going to really center it. We're going to kind of aim it more towards the bottom. And what I like to do is, I call this the cheater method, and I just use some Scotch tape, and then I just kind of flip this over here and take part of the ribbon, wrap it around the back side, and then just take a piece of Scotch tape and just anchor it down. And then I'll just make sure it lines up nicely in the front, and I'll do the same thing on the back side. So your paper should look like this. So your ribbon is kind of towards the bottom of that. And then our next thing we're going to do is we're just going to anchor this down, and I'm going to use some snail adhesive. And I'm just going to anchor it towards the bottom of the card, and leave a little bit of the blue showing. Probably about an inch or so. Half an inch. So it looks like that. So once you have it looking like that, next thing you're going to do is we're going to take your fine tip glue pen. And this is right through Stampin' Up. And we're going to take our delicate little flowers here. We're going to flip them over, and we're just going to put some glue on these guys. What I like about this fine tip glue pen is it's got the this little metal thing in here to make sure it never dries out. So that's nice. And then when you're done, you just kind of line it back up and put it in there, and then your glue doesn't dry out, and you don't get that hard dried up tip on a lot of the, I know a lot of the different glues out there, they end up drying up towards the tip, and it's hard to use after a couple of uses. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this glue on here. So once you have your glue where you want it, we're just going to take your flower, and the larger one I kind of put right up here. And then the smaller one I kind of laid right about here. And then you should have your last piece of pink tag paper in there. This is on pink Pirouette, and this is cut out of the framelit dies. So you're just going to take this, and we're going to use some Blushing Bride ink. And we're going to take the Happy Birthday out of this set, and we're going to use that on here. And again, I always like to just kind of, with the clear ones, it's harder to tell if it's straight. So I just kind of stamp it down once just to make sure. And you're just gonna want to stamp it right in the middle. And I missed part of that. So I'm just gonna flip it over. And that's the great thing about this, is you have two sides. And I'm just gonna re-stamp it. Okay, much better. So then you're going to take this, and what I did on this last card is, and this is optional if you want to do it, I took this and I kind of just dipped it in the ink to kind of give it a little edge effect on there. And again, it's optional. It's not something you have to do, but I kind of like the way that it looked. So, and then it just kind of gives it a little bit more of a standout effect on it. Then I'm just going to take some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and we're just going to anchor those down with the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. And I'll put 4 of them on here. So then you'll take your tag and kind of put it right in the middle. And there's your second card. Another simple card, and I just love how the flowers are so shiny in there. And this here was cut out of the Blushing Bride glimmer paper. So we'll move on to the last card, which this one is kind of fun. This one we're using the note cards through Stampin' Up! So it's a little smaller than your A2 size card. It actually measures 5 by 3.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this card here, and we're going to take our sponge daubers, and we're going to take 3 different inks, which will be Flirty Flamingo, Sweet Sugar Plum, and Rich Razzleberry. So we're just going to open these up. And you're going to get a piece of white paper with 1 flower cut out. So this you want to place on your card base, wherever you want it. If you want it to hang off the edge a little, however you want to do it. And I just use some Scotch tape to kind of just anchor it down, just to kind of hold it. And you're just going to take your inks, and we're just going to go ahead and ink this up. And the first color I went with was the Flirty Flamingo, and kind of just add it where you want it, light, dark, however you want to do it. And then I moved on to the next color, which is this. It should be Sweet Sugar Plum. It'll be our next color. Yes, Sweet Sugar Plum. So that'll be the next color. And then the third would be your Rich Razzleberry. And then I just went ahead and moved this down on my card. Look at how pretty that is. And then you can, you know, put them wherever you want to. And that's what it should look like. Look at how pretty that is. So just think about all the different things you can do with that. I love the sponge daubers. You could also use the sponges, the craft sponges that they have, the round ones, and cut those into pieces. That would work too, but I think you get a little bit more control with the sponge daubers. So I didn't try it with the other sponges. Like I said, I think you have more control with the daubers. So once we get that done, you'll have a little bag with pieces in it. And you're just going to open up your bag. And you should have a few leaves in there, and then a tag with cut out of Melon Mambo. And we're just going to go ahead and stamp this. And I can find my stamp set. We're going to take, you can use any of these on here that you want, whatever ones you want to have or to use. But I think the one I'm going to use today will be Wishing You a Beautiful Day. And I just use the basic black ink pad to stamp out this. And I kind of just kind of center it. Perfect. And then you'll see you have your leaves here. You'll have 2 big leaves and 4 of the little leaves. So I just took some of our glue dots and kind of used those to put the leaves on the back here. And I kind of took the leaves and I put them out at the centers here, or out on the corners, I should say. So I just took a glue dot, put it back there, and then took my big leaf and kind of put it right on the glue dot. And I like where that is. So then I'll take another glue dot and put it off to the side or so, just wherever you want your leaves to go. So once you got your other glue dot on there, I'll take one of the little leaves here and kind of angle it out to the side. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side of the big leaf. So that looks a little something like that. And then I'll do the same thing on the other opposite corner here. I like to use the glue dots because I think that they'll hold better than your snail adhesive for something delicate like this. So your tag's going to look like this when it's all finished. And then what I used was our snail adhesive to kind of pop it up on the front here. I kind of put one on top of the leaves. So I used about 5 snail adhesive, or Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. So I like using, when I use them, I like to use a lot. They're fairly inexpensive. So I think it's like you get 300 for $4 or $5. So then you're just going to kind of put this in the center of your card. And there you have it. That's your third card in the club. So also, I forgot to mention that if you are in my card club for 6 months in a row, consecutive 6 months, then you will be eligible for a free stamp set, $25 or less. I will email you once you qualify and let you know, and then you could just tell me which stamp set you would like. So I hope you enjoyed this month's card club.